Esmeralda Ferrer was a 32-year-old aspiring digital influencer. She lived the kind of life many dream of: vacations on paradise beaches, expensive handbags, and luxury cars. On August 22nd, Esmeralda, along with her husband Roberto and their 2 children, were found dead, wrapped in plastic bags, in the back of a pickup truck in a crime that shocked Mexico. Esmeralda Ferrer Garibay, known online as Esmeralda FG, had over 44,000 followers on TikTok and dreamed of becoming a digital influencer. At 32, she was already attracting an audience. Some people identified with her, while others longed for the kind of life she showcased. In her videos, she always appeared well-dressed, with flawless hair, makeup, designer clothes, and a personality that drew people in. Her content displayed the lifestyle many dream of: vacations on paradise beaches, luxury handbags from Dior, Gucci, and Louis Vuitton, and expensive cars gleaming under the Mexican sun. But there was more to her content, something viewed as highly controversial, even among her followers. In one viral video, Esmeralda lip-synced to a song with the caption, "Perks of having a narco boyfriend." Was it just a joke, a satire, or a glimpse of something much closer to reality? That video, highlighted by sources I used for my research, fueled speculation about her life and that of her husband, a man named Roberto Carlos Gil Licea. Roberto, 36, was a businessman with seemingly legitimate ventures, but ones that operated in dangerous sectors of Mexico. He was involved in vehicle sales and tomato farming in Michoacán, a region notorious for the presence of cartels such as the Jalisco New Generation Cartel and La Familia Michoacana. Industries like transportation and agriculture are often used by cartels as channels for money laundering or extortion. Michoacán is a battlefield where criminal groups control everything from farmland to auto shops. Esmeralda and Roberto, along with their children, 13-year-old Gael Santiago and 7-year-old Regina, had recently moved from Michoacán to Guadalajara, possibly seeking safety. But as some reports suggest, that move may not have been enough to escape the shadows that followed them. Esmeralda's life on social media was a showcase of luxury. Her videos revealed a stark contrast with the reality faced by many Mexicans. While the country struggles with poverty and violence, she flaunted jewelry, sports cars, and lavish trips. But that display of wealth came at a price. When you flaunt wealth publicly, especially in regions like Jalisco or Michoacán, you draw attention, and not always the kind you want. Esmeralda wasn't a mega influencer with millions of followers, but her 44,000 TikTok followers were enough to put her on the radar. And as some sources point out, her caption about having a narco boyfriend may have been taken as a provocation by criminal groups, even if it was just meant as a performance for online engagement. To better understand this case, we first need to look at Guadalajara and the state of Jalisco. The city, Mexico's second largest, is an economic hub known for its culture, tequila, and technology, but it's also an epicenter of violence. The Jalisco New Generation Cartel, one of the most powerful and brutal cartels in the world, dominates the region. Reports highlight that Jalisco records thousands of homicides every year, many tied to organized crime, and the violence spares no one. From farmers to influencers, anyone can become a target. When Esmeralda and Roberto moved to the San Andres neighborhood in Guadalajara, they stepped into a territory where the line between legality and crime is razor thin. According to Mike King, a former police commander, flaunting wealth in Mexico, especially with any reference to narco culture, is like playing with fire. The Ferrer family, with their gray Ford Ranger and flashy lifestyle, stood right at the heart of a volcano ready to erupt. At the center of it all were Gail and Regina, Esmeralda and Roberto's children. They were just kids who became victims of a horrific crime. News reports reveal little about them. They were innocent, caught in a conflict they never chose. Before August 22, 2025, the family appeared to be living a dream. But that dream was about to turn into an unimaginable nightmare. It was an ordinary morning in Guadalajara, August 22, 2025. The San Andres neighborhood, a middle-class area with modest homes and auto repair shops, was slowly waking up. But something was out of place. A gray Ford Ranger parked on the corner of Calle Jose Maria Areola caught the attention of locals. The vehicle looked abandoned, with dust settling on it and fogged-up windows. When police were called, What they found in the truck bed was beyond any nightmare. 4 bodies, wrapped in black plastic, stacked as if they were discarded goods. They were Esmeralda Ferrer Garibay, Roberto Carlos Gil Licea, Gael Santiago, and Regina. All were shot, marked by a methodical execution. The scene bore the hallmarks of a cartel-style killing, deliberate, brutal, and designed to shock. The fact that Gael and Regina were murdered alongside their parents sent a chilling message: control, fear, and vengeance. Mexican authorities, led by prosecutor Blanco Trujillo, acted quickly. City security camera footage tracked the Ford Ranger to the point it was abandoned around 4 a.m. Identifying the bodies, however, took 6 days until August 28th, due to the condition of the remains and the need for forensic examinations. The autopsy confirmed that all 4 were killed by gunfire, with multiple wounds to the head and torso. The blood inside the truck, spent bullet casings, and ballistic evidence suggested the crime did not occur there. The trail led investigators to an auto repair shop in the same neighborhood where the true crime scene was discovered. At the shop, police found bloodstains on the floor, walls marked with splatters, and 9mm and .45 caliber bullet casings scattered across the concrete. Prosecutor Blanco Trujillo stated that, although forensic results are not yet complete, ballistic and blood evidence almost certainly confirmed that the family was murdered at that location. The initial theory is that the family was lured or forcibly taken to the workshop where they were executed. Their bodies were then wrapped in plastic, a common practice in cartel executions. This is done to facilitate cleanup and transport. The pickup truck, likely Roberto's, was used to dump the bodies a few kilometers away in a calculated act meant to send a message. Cartels use these public executions to assert dominance. Leaving bodies in plain sight is a statement of power and impunity. The San Andres neighborhood, though residential, is close to areas controlled by the Jalisco New Generation cartel. The choice of location was not random, it was a warning. The crime shocked the local population. Residents interviewed reported fear, with many saying they had never seen anything like it. Some others admitted they knew Guadalajara had violence, but this was on another level. While police cordoned off the area, social media exploded with speculation. The impact of Gail and Regina's deaths, aged 13 and 7, reverberated globally. Killing an entire family is a cartel tactic to eliminate witnesses and send a clear message: no one is safe. The lack of signs of struggle or defense on the bodies suggests the attack was swift and planned. The family may have been caught off guard or possibly lured by someone they already knew. As investigators collected evidence, one question loomed: what led to this massacre? With the crime scene identified, the Guadalajara police, in coordination with the National Guard and the Ministry of Security, intensified the investigation. Security cameras were crucial in tracking the Ford Ranger to the San Andres workshop. There, investigators found not only physical evidence but also witnesses who pointed to 2 men, Hector Manuel Valadiva Martinez and another known only as El Chino. Both worked at the workshop and were detained for questioning. The hope was that they would clarify what happened on the night of the crime. But what came next turned the case into a script worthy of Hollywood. On August 29th, after days of interrogation, Hector and El Chino were released due to insufficient evidence. The prosecution, led by Blanco Trujillo, admitted that despite suspicions, there was no concrete proof to keep them in custody. But minutes after leaving the prosecutor's office, something shocking happened. An armed group kidnapped 3 men, Hector, Jose Manuel Arredondo Roldan, and Gary Omar Silva Gonzalez, shortly after Hector had been interrogated. Jose and Gary were not questioned. They were acquaintances waiting nearby and were taken along with Hector. El Chino, who had also been interrogated, managed to escape and was not taken. The 3 men remained missing for 26 days until they were located alive and returned safely to their families. No official reports confirmed serious injuries, and the investigation into the circumstances of their abduction continues. This kidnapping raised disturbing questions. It was a clear message: don't talk, don't snitch. Cartels, known for their impunity, often eliminate witnesses or suspects to protect their secrets. If you leave loose ends, the cartel cuts them. Police believe the kidnappers may be linked to the same group that executed the family, possibly the Jalisco New Generation cartel, although no organization has been officially charged. The lack of transparency in Mexico's judicial system complicates matters. Criminal proceedings in Mexico move at a snail's pace. Impunity reigns. Meanwhile, the investigation turned to Roberto's past. Some sources suggest that his businesses in Michoacan, car sales and tomato farming, may have put him in the crosshairs of cartels. These sectors are common targets for extortion, and the move to Guadalajara may have been an attempt to escape debts or rivalries. Esmeralda, for her part, was not directly connected to organized crime, but her TikTok content, especially the narco boyfriend video, fueled speculation. In Mexico, perception can carry as much weight as evidence. Esmeralda's caption may have been a joke, but in a country where cartels monitor social media, it could have been a fatal mistake. Investigators also examined the family's phones. Messages, unposted videos, and call logs could reveal contacts with suspects or prior threats. So far, however, no concrete information has been released. The lack of formal arrests, combined with the kidnapping of the suspects, has left Guadalajara residents in panic. People fear retaliation. If even the suspects disappear, who is truly safe? The big question remains, why were Esmeralda, Roberto, Gael, and Regina killed? The investigation points to organized crime, but the motives are unclear. The strongest theory is that Roberto was the primary target. His businesses in Michoacan, a cartel stronghold, may have created debts, rivalries, or competition. Car sales and agriculture are perfect channels for money laundering. If Roberto crossed the wrong people, he and his family paid the price. Cartels eliminate entire families to send a message of power. Esmeralda's role as an influencer is also central. Her 44,000 followers didn't make her a global celebrity, but in Jalisco, it was enough to draw attention. The video with the caption, "Perks of having a narco boyfriend," may have been seen as a provocation. In Mexico, flaunting wealth or joking about narco culture on social media is dangerous. Cartels don't like the spotlight. If Esmeralda exposed something, even unintentionally, she became a risk. The culture of narco corridos, songs that glorify drug trafficking, also plays a role. Esmeralda embraced this style, which may have reinforced perceptions of ties to crime. But it's hard to tell if it was real or just a TikTok persona. Digital fame, in a country where cartels monitor social media, is a double-edged sword. Other cases, like those of Valeria Marquez and Marquitos Toys, show a pattern. Influencers who flirt with narco aesthetics often become targets. The lack of justice is another grim reality. As of this video, the investigation into the kidnapping is ongoing, and authorities have not confirmed the involvement of any suspects. Police in Mexico are also afraid. Their own families can become targets. Cartel impunity is a stark reminder. In Jalisco, the Jalisco New Generation Cartel operates with near absolute power. This case, like so many others, may remain unsolved, leaving Gael and Regina as collateral damage in a broken system.